Cool. Noah, you're someone who knows a thing or two about AI, right? But a lot is going on in the DoD with AI, a bunch of buzzwords. But tell me more, get me smart on what's actually happening.
Okay, Ben, this week some news came out. The headline was that the DoD is reorganizing its AI efforts yet again.
We love a reorg.
The CDAO, now under the Office of the Undersecretary for Research and Engineering, or USD-R&E, Emil Michael. I want to just walk through with everybody. Ben's got Ben Math. I'm going to do a little history lesson here, Ben. I want to make our history lesson today a little bit of a timeline of the U.S. Department of Defense and our dalliance with AI in the DoD. So I'm going to start with a little prologue, and I'm going to take you back. I'm going to take you back to November 2012. It's the first time, really, that AI appears in DoD guidance. What we see is Directive 3009, establishing that autonomous weapons systems must allow, quote, appropriate levels of human judgment in lethal decisions. That directive, by the way, was reaffirmed in 2017. It stands, basically saying, hey, killer robots, humans have to be involved. All right, let's move to 2014. What happens? The Pentagon's third offset strategy, a big think piece, big strategic documents, highlights artificial intelligence and autonomy as key to future military dominance. The DoD investment in AI-related R&D grows from $5.6 billion in 2011 to $7.4 billion in 2016. And in 2016, that same year, the Defense Innovation Board, new organization led by Eric Schmidt, the former chairman of Google, formally recommends creating a DoD AI center, laying the groundwork for a centralized AI effort. That's going to become a theme here, Ben. We're going to talk about centralization again and again. Fast forward next year, 2017, Deputy Secretary of Defense Bob Work writes a memo establishing the Algorithmic Warfare Cross-Functional Team, also known as Project Maven. The goal of the effort is to accelerate big data and machine learning efforts inside DoD. There wasn't even that much AI at the time. The initial focus was to apply commercial computer vision models to automatically identify objects in millions and millions of hours of video that was coming off of drones, UAVs in the counter-ISIS campaign. We were still focused on terrorism at that point. And that team was led by a Marine, Ben, a Marine colonel, Colonel Drew Kukor, something of a legend in the AI space. Now, in early 2018, I'm skipping ahead, we got a little bit of controversy. This was what I think was the crucible moment for the defense tech movement that we see today, at least in terms of lore. And that is that Google's cloud AI technology was being used to support Project Maven. That news gets broken by surprise of the media, and it sparks an outcry among Google employees who fear that Maven's AI could facilitate what they said was lethal targeting. So there are thousands of people inside Google who signed petitions, and dozens even resigned in protest of Google's participation. So Google announces it would not renew its Maven contract after it expired in 2019, and they also introduced new AI principles bearing work on weapons. They were called ethical principles. We'll leave that one for a later conversation. I think everyone knows where we stand on that. That clears the way for other companies, other primes, notably Palantir and a company called ECS, to move into that prime spot and start leading DoD's work with Maven. That same year in 2018, we see the Deputy Secretary of Defense, Pat Shanahan, who creates two entities. First, the Joint Artificial Intelligence Center, known as the JAIC. The person in command of that was Lieutenant General Jack Shanahan. It was created to synchronize high-priority AI initiatives across the entire DoD. And the second organization was the Office of the Chief Data Officer, CDAO, under the Chief Management Officer. And that person was responsible, basically the enablers of AI, improved data governance, accessibility, and quality. That's to make AI possible. We have to have our data in similar formats in similar places. Cloud becomes a big focus. In 2019, we also get the first DoD AI strategy. We get a bunch of national mission initiatives, or NMIs, under the JAIC, including a Joint Common Foundation environment to accelerate AI tool development and the operational employment of Maven. You start seeing contracts let. You see the JAIC gets reorganized a few times over these years, right? In 2020, COVID year, also strategy year, Ben. We see the introduction of the AI ethical principles, the DoD data strategy, and then we have CDO Chief Data Officer Dave Spurk. There were some leadership changes, and Congress elevates the JAIC directly to the Deputy Secretary of Defense, out from under the Chief Information Officer, which is why the latest news is seen as demoting the role of AI. The JAIC was rolled up under the DepSecDef. Now it's out from CIO to DepSecDef. Now we're pushing it back to R&E. We also see new leadership that brings changes. 2021, we have new Deputy Secretary of Defense, Kath Hicks. She introduces the AI Data Accelerator, or ADA initiative, to embed experts with each combatant command. We get a DoD AI education strategy, prepare the workforce to make them AI ready. And we see the department-wide Advana data analytics platform, as well as a chief data officer council. Never let a good problem get in the way of a reorg. With all this new stuff, DepSec Def Hicks needs to streamline all of these organizations. So in 2021, she announces the Chief Digital and AI Office, CDAO, which merges the JAIC, the Defense Digital Service, DDS, spun out from U.S. Digital Service, the DoD's Chief Data Officer Office, and the Advana Data Platform team. They're all rolled up under this CDAO, this single entity. It comes online in June 2020, led by Dr. Craig Martell. It reports to DepSec Def Hicks. Now, notably, what is not in there, Ben? What is not in there in 2022 is Project Maven, which has been moved to the NGA, the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency, to make use of their imagery expertise. This new entity, the CDAO, yields a DoD data analytics and AI adoption strategy and the Tradewin Rapid Acquisition Marketplace. Now, over the past year, Ben, CDAO has been working closely with the Office of the Undersecretary of Defense for Research and Engineering on a new comprehensive DoD AI strategy mandated by the White House National AI Initiative. That's really what lays the groundwork for this week's announcement, which is that the belief inside this department that really these AI initiatives belong with an engineering organization. So is it a demotion? Technically, absolutely. Will it change the way that office operates? Perhaps. I think a lot is to be seen. And as my good friend Ben Jacobson likes to say, details matter.
Great stuff, Noah. Really exciting detail. I never thought a history lesson. I used to fall asleep in history, but I was wide awake for all of that. But wow, what a journey. A lot of reorgs. I'm sure there were a lot of change, a lot of change management. Not sure what the next step is. You'll keep us updated, but I'm still digesting. And I know the folks at home are still digesting because what a whirlwind.
It's a whirlwind, and it's crazy to think it's been over a decade that DoD has been trying to figure out AI. I'm not sure we're quite there yet. AI is not figured out anywhere. So it's a living, breathing thing, and we will keep following this story. What is for sure is AI is not going anywhere. All right, Ben, I think that'll close. Let's close the tab on AI in DoD.